Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of Real Talk. What's up everyone? I am Adrian and I am joined by
Daniel.
And far away from us.
Yes, and I am Rob.
How have you guys been? Wow, this is like 3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks in a row. We're on a record. Yeah, we're on a record
Yep.
right now.
I'm doing good.
Hey, everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
I did, yeah. Yeah, it was a chill time.
It was cool. The food was good, better than usual.
Dang. So you're gonna tell our father that, or
Hey,
Oh, wow.
I mean, that should be a compliment. I mean, it's saying like, hey, his turkey was actually good. I mean, better this year.
Not even
Dad,
good.
if
It
you're
was just better.
Dad, if you're watching this, your food's always great during Thanksgiving, especially the stuffing, the bomb.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't listen to this guy.
Dad doesn't make the stuffing. Mom does.
Wait,
Well, whatever.
Wait, Adrian, what did you cook, Adrian?
Nothing.
Sounds about
Nothing.
right. Sounds about right.
How was your Thanksgiving, Rob?
Well, it was pretty good. I went over the in-laws and had Thanksgiving there and thought I was gonna get off scot-free. Typically I do the turkey, and thought I was gonna
Did you
get off.
do the oven or you deep fry it? Because I know.
No. I do my turkey in a roaster.
Oh, okay.
So it gets done quicker. And then what I do is, this year is the first time I tried. I roasted the turkey, and then when it was done, I threw it in the oven and broiled it, so it gets that crispy skin taste, and it came out pretty good. But I thought I was gonna get out of doing it this year because we were going over my in-laws, and then my mother was like, "Hey, can you cook the turkey for when you come over to our house?" And I was just like, I guess. So I cooked the turkey.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it was good. I got to spend time. Thursday we went over my wife's family's house, and then Friday we stood home because I live right next door to my parents. So there was
there you go.
That's
There
cool,
we
man.
go.
That's a nice perk
But
to have.
okay, so
It is.
Here's a fun question.
Oh no.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
My favorite Thanksgiving dish. Okay, so I love mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, just I'll eat mashed potatoes and gravy all day. But
Yeah.
since I've been with Robin and we've gotten married and had a few Thanksgivings together now, she makes this. There's two things. She does these cheesy potatoes, which are really good, and then she does like this. It's like a dessert where she crushes up like pretzels and then puts like a layer of like kind of cream cheese down with Jello. Yeah. Oh man, it's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
My wife's cousin makes that for the holidays, and I've had that. That is pretty delicious.
Yeah, it's good.
Interesting. Never had anything like that.
For me, I want to say, God, I want to say it's the stuffing. My mother makes like the best stuffing. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. I've
right.
had other stuffings, but my mom makes the best. So Ma, if you're watching, I really love your stuffing.
You know your
It's
mom's not
delicious.
watching.
I know.
I don't know. So
Our dad's the only one that watches it, not
Yeah.
my mom. My mom has
Yeah,
better
well,
things
well,
to watch.
He'll relay the message. I mean, I won't tell her in person, but that shows what kind of son I am. But I really enjoy the stuffing. But yeah, I gotta say, mashed potatoes and gravy are like a close second. So
Here's the funny thing. I don't mean to cut you off, Danny. I know you're gonna give us your dish right now, but just a funny thing about the mashed potatoes and gravy is, when I first started dating my wife, their family didn't do mashed potatoes and gravy. They just did cheesy potatoes. And I told my mom about this, and she was like, what? And so she made me mashed potatoes and gravy for the years
like out of
that
pity, like
yeah,
felt bad
she
for
was
you.
like, my son's not going out with my son's not gonna not have mashed potatoes and gravy. So
Yeah.
my mom, thank you, Mom. Also, thanks to my mom for always
Thank
hooking
God
it
for
up. But
mothers.
yes, yes. Anyways, Danny, before I rudely interrupted you, what is your favorite dish?
It's the same thing as Adrian. You know, the stuffing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, like Adrian said, like the other stuffings. I tried different stuffings, and nothing compares to my mom because she makes it homemade. It's not like
Yep.
from the box or anything like that. So it's like, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Good stuff. High praise for the Marquez mother right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I guess she makes these bomb, what, chili beans or whatever it is.
What do you mean? I
Ooh.
guess.
Well,
Like,
let me finish because I am not a fan of chili beans. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
So, but everyone
So-
everyone swears by them. Like, not just our family, but people who've tried it. You know, friends and family, like friends and all that stuff.
But you haven't tried them?
No, I tried them, but I don't like them because
Yeah, so I don't
Ma,
think
did you hear that? Your son does not like.
I just
chili
like
beans.
eating chili beans in general, like that,
Okay,
like that,
okay.
like
Hey,
just like
my-
by itself and stuff.
My mother made chili for years, and everyone raved about her chili, and I didn't eat it until maybe about, I would say, 5 to 7 years ago. I got and I acquired a taste for chili, and I was like, wow, I was missing out all these years. So maybe in another 10 years, Danny, you'll acquire
Maybe
taste
when
for your
Daniel
mom's
gets to
chili
about
beans.
your age,
Yeah,
he'll start appreciating
Yeah.
the quality of good chili. Yes, my mother does make excellent chili, and Daniel is crazy. Yeah. So guys, thanks for watching our food episode.
Food reviews of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we are a movie channel, so we should probably talk about movies if anybody's still watching, because they turned out like, I thought we were watching about movies. Guess
Yeah.
not. What are we going to be talking about today? Big news dropped by HBO Max today. We kind of touched on it last week when we had got the news about Wonder Woman 1984 being dropped on Christmas Day on HBO Max, and now we are getting literally their entire 2021 slate being released, basically the same model on HBO Max and in theaters, and that's a really big move, and that has a lot of implications. So we'll talk about them. Rob, what were your thoughts when you heard that news?
I was just like, first, I was like, I seen it, and I was like, no, that's not real. Maybe like December and January, whatever movies will be released, they might throw it on there. And then the more I kind of delved into it, I was just like, oh wow, they're really just like doing this. And I was just more like, I was excited because they're not like, if movie theaters survive, they're not taking away that experience. They're actually just giving us, hey, honestly, after I like got over the thing of it just being like, oh wow, like they just really did this, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like they're giving us HBO Max subscribers, like kind of like we can watch it at home, and then if we think it's like theater worthy, if we can find a theater that's open, we can hit the theater. So that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of the thing that popped
Well,
into my
that's
head.
an interesting take that you have there, Rob, as far as like, I didn't think about it that way, because I've always been kind of on that, there's kind of a line drawn in the sand. You're either
Yeah.
an at-home streamer or someone who avidly supports, the theater-going experience, which
Right.
that's the one I fall on. But that's an interesting take on it. Like, yeah, you watch it and say, I should probably go check this out in theaters because it'll probably be a better experience. So that's an
Right.
interesting take. I didn't think about it that way. Daniel, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, like I thought it was fake at first because I saw someone post it on Instagram, and like it was like on someone's story, and I was like, that's probably fake. So I just kept skipping, and then one of you posted it like on the Instagram page, and I was like, wait, what? Is this real then? And then like that's when I looked at it, and it was straight from HBO,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it because like I feel like that's kind of like almost like the nail in the coffin for movie theaters. I mean, like I just can't see, like if this does good and this does well, I can't see like how movie theaters can combat that, like, you know, like it's for someone who like, I don't know what's the price for HBO Max. I don't know what is it.
I think it's like
It's like
$15 a month.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
15
13 or 14.99 a month. So
Yeah, and then especially for someone who's like who already has it, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, well, I'm gonna go to the theater.
Yeah,
And
I have HBO Max because I did the 1 year subscription, and they took off like $5 a month for early sign up. So that's kind of how they hooked me. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm like gonna pay $10 a month for a year. Let's see how it is. And hearing this, I'm kind of like, all right, maybe I will keep it. Just because it gives me access to the entire slate, which there are several films that I really want to see on there, like Dune and the new Space Jam, Into the Heights, which is that musical that is coming out. Just a whole slate. Matrix 4. Like, there's so much that's coming out under the Warner Brothers banner, and like, I gotta really want to check this out. So, but again, I think this kind of a couple things is happening here. I think one is like what we kind of touched on last week. Warner Brothers or HBO Max, when they did the launch, it didn't really hit the numbers that they were hoping for, and I think this is the thing that they're trying to get that boost. So they're gonna throw it out there. Okay, we got Wonder Woman out there. Hey, if you guys like this option, well, you guys should really stay signed up, because we're gonna have everything following the same business model, theaters and on HBO Max, same day. And so you have that option. If you want to go to the theaters, you can watch it. If you prefer staying home, you can do that too. And so I think it's cool that they're having that option, but I think that's also what they're trying to do, is for people like me that were probably thinking, oh, you know what, I'll just sign up for the Wonder Woman just to watch it, and then I'll cancel it. But now that they have it, maybe they're hoping with this announcement early on, they can kind of hook people and keep them. So I don't know. We'll see what that entails for not only HBO Max, but also other streamers going forward. Are they going to follow the same business model? Now we see Disney Plus, which is going to be releasing Soul on their on Christmas Day, which was originally supposed to be released in the middle of summer. I think June it was, but they kept pushing it back, and then here we are with that. And I right now I feel like HBO and Disney Plus are the only ones that really kind of have full control of like their studio content, which means like Warner Brothers and Disney. The other studios don't really have streaming channels, so they kind of have to sell their stuff to other, like either Netflix, Hulu, or whatever, and so they might take a bigger cut than what Disney will, or HBO or Warner's will. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think this is like a good, like, do you think the other studios will follow suit? Do you guys think they'll do the same thing, and what do you think that'll happen, and what that means going forward?
Go ahead, Danny. You could take this one first.
Yeah, the first streamer, the other streamer that I thought of when this happened was obviously Disney, because they have a lot of IPs, in their catalog and stuff, and I just feel like it just puts a lot of pressure on them to make a move, and it puts a lot of pressure, like just like how their model right now was just kind of like $30 to watch it, and then and then a few months it will be on streaming, because this is an entirely different thing. Which obviously HBO is just charging the monthly fee, and it's like in their streaming service.
Yeah.
So it definitely puts a lot of pressure on Disney, and as far as what they're gonna do, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna like stick to the guns and still charge that high price, the $30 premium to rent stuff, or are they gonna just bite the bullet and just give it out to people who already have the service, or subscribe to their Disney Plus service. But yeah, it's definitely putting a lot of pressure on Disney.
Well, I think HBO Max doing this kind of does a lot of things. It definitely, I wouldn't say puts a nail in the coffin for the movie theater industry, but the hammer and the nail are there. So, but in saying that, once again, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. Disney is a beast unto itself. They, it. What I would like Disney to do, and I know they're probably not going to, is you know throw us a bone once in a while. Like, let us have Soul for free, because I know Disney's gonna want to charge for their new
Are they
release.
charging for Soul?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Okay,
Soul is for free.
okay,
And
okay.
yeah, go ahead and finish
Oh, no,
your.
no, no. So okay, so like something like this. Okay, they're giving us Soul for free. I'll take that, and maybe next time they're gonna charge for their next big property. Uh, don't make like let people, like I think you were saying it last time, Adrian. Let people get it with the option of, like, okay, you're gonna buy this, and as long as you keep Disney Plus, this is yours. Um, whereas you're just renting it. And with going back to HBO Max, kind of doing this, I, I feel like it's just it's hard to kind of gauge what this is. I know, like, for me, this is HBO Max doing this is something big, and it's just kind of hard to gauge what it's starting right now, because it's just the very beginning of it. And but I do think this is definitely not in favor of movie theaters, even though they are saying, hey, HBO Max and movie theaters. But at that point, it's like, what movie theaters are going to be left open to go see this? Like, for us here, and we're closer to Los Angeles and California. There's very few theaters that are open. So for us, HBO Max is pretty much the only option to see it. Um, so maybe for somewhere else, on the East Coast or in the Middle East, wherever, the Midwest, um, maybe somewhere where there's a theater open and they can watch it. Maybe that works for them. But I feel like this is it's definitely a negative step for movie theaters. But one thing I will say that I feel like, I don't know if it's with Wonder Woman or in one of their releases that's going to come up, but I heard it's supposed to be in 4K, which is a
Yeah,
big thing, because when HBO Max launched, there really was nothing that was
yeah,
4K. Whereas when Disney Plus launched, they pretty much, kind of upconverted all their stuff
yeah.
into 4K. So you got
And
that
and
quality.
that
Well,
was
well, let me interject first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead,
When it
Danny.
comes to 4K, it doesn't matter to Adrian, so he's so
that
so
4K
I
looks really
mean,
good on my
yeah,
720.
yeah. If they were streaming it at 720p, he would be,
well, if it
happy
was
regardless.
35 millimeter, I'd love it. Um,
So 4K means nothing to Adrian.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
not,
I mean, for all the other
um,
people besides
yeah.
Adrian, I
well,
mean,
and
so
again,
yeah.
this is kind of goes back to HBO Max's struggles when it first launched. I mean, I know a big issue was, one, it wasn't available on the Roku streaming stick.
Hmm.
Two, they didn't have 4K content. Wonder Woman is going to be the first bit of 4K content on their channel. So they had like these things that are kind of like negatives against them, even though they have like a really huge catalog and some great content on there.
Right.
It's only good if you can access it. And then it's like, if you have a 4K TV, unfortunately I don't, but you guys do, and it's like, if you're watching stuff that doesn't kind of meet the capabilities of your television, it kind of can be a bit of a drawback.
Yeah.
And so I think those are some of the struggles. But again, to your point, Daniel, I honestly, I'm gonna say, actually, I don't think that all the pressure is on Disney. I think Disney is gonna continue to just stay the course, stand back and
But
watch,
here,
and all the pressure is gonna be on HBO Max to perform.
but here's the thing though. Like I kind of disagree on that, is because it's not just their movie industry that's struggling, Disney. It's also their parks that are struggling in the pandemic. So they're like, it's I mean, I can only imagine it's got to cost them a lot of money to keep these parks closed. Disney land in California. So I don't think it's like, oh, like, they have some like insurance or whatever, as far as like money that they could just burn through. Because they just like they put a lot of money into like just a lot of things. They just put a lot of money into the Disney Plus, and all that stuff. So I mean, like it's I I just feel like they're in a tough situation right now.
Um,
I don't know.
no, I don't. I don't agree.
Okay, well, explain why.
Well, my thing is that yeah, I agree. Yeah, to some extent, yeah, they are gonna suffer. But as far as it goes, though, they're kind of okay. Because if they were in a tough spot, they would be doing the same thing, and they're not. They're totally fine. Like they're here, and I think the only reason why they did with what they did with Soul was because they had such big like pushback on the whole Mulan thing,
Right.
and so like kind of just as a bit of good faith, like here we're gonna release Soul, and so that we at least have something out there, for people during the holidays to watch. But again, like I said, I think the thing is they're gonna sit back, they're gonna look at the data and see how does HBO perform with these things. They might wait for like the first like one or two and say, "Wow, look, their numbers are going up because they're releasing this content and more people are subscribing." Maybe we'll do the same thing. Maybe we will release Black Widow on Disney Plus, or maybe we will, with the next Pixar film, because it's all about getting eyes geared towards your content. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, their parks are struggling and stuff, but those are all like, yeah, same company, but they're different entities, and I think they work a little differently. Um, but anyway,
I
I don't know.
disagree.
But here's the thing, for theaters as well, like I don't think they'll die. But living here in Los Angeles, it's like, yeah, you have one on every street corner, or at least one in every city, and so you don't have to travel far to get to a theater. But what I believe what will happen is that we will start to see some cities lose their theaters, and then you'll have to go one or two cities over to get to the closest theater. And I think that's the thing, is they're going to start looking at which theater locations drive the most attendance and drive have which bring in the most money, and then those are the ones that are going to be kept, and then the other ones that are like struggling and a little bit further down the line on the total revenue and what they make, they'll probably close the doors on those ones. And so I think we'll see that. But the interesting thing too, I also wanted to talk about, is knowing that the way the exhibitors work with the current like studio system, the way they have that agreement is that they have a 90-day window before things can be released on VOD or home video. And so now with this model, like I don't know how is that going to work, because I know the theaters were going to ban Universal for basically doing something like this with like Trolls or whatever, several months back. And so now I haven't heard anything about the exhibitors doing anything with this. So I don't know. It's interesting to see how they respond to this, because again, they have that operating window, and so the idea is to get everybody to go to theaters first and then go to the home streaming and the VOD. But will theaters budge on this? Are they going to say, no, we're not going to show your movie? Or are they going to kind of play ball and then just say, okay, yeah, we're going to show the movie? What do you think, Rob?
I think that right now theaters aren't getting anything.
Yeah.
So, and in saying that, I mean, I'm not in those meetings. I've never been in those meetings. I don't know what those people do and what they talk about, but I'm just assuming that they've already met, like, Warner Brothers maybe had already met, excuse me, with, the theater, or whoever's in charge of, what theater operations, and said like, hey, this is what we're going to do, but we still also want to give people the option to go to the theater. I feel like
Yeah.
they might be throwing the theaters a bone, in a sense, because otherwise they could just throw it on like how they're doing with Wonder Woman, just throw it on HBO Max and let that be that, and say whatever with the theaters. But I feel like they're trying to help the theaters, even if it is same day kind of thing. Like I said, there are people like me who, if I get the opportunity, if I watch Wonder Woman, I'm gonna watch it Christmas. Like I'll probably stay up and watch it midnight if they release it at midnight. And if I watch it and I'm like, man, I want to see this movie, in a theater, and I can find a theater within reasonable driving range, reasonable driving range, I'm gonna go see it because I'm gonna be like, hey, this should deserves. I'm one of those people who, if I see a movie and I think it deserves to be watched, in the proper format of a theater setting, I'm gonna go watch it. Even though I've already seen it, I'm gonna go watch it in that theater setting. Just like I think it was Godzilla is supposed to come out on HBO Max too, right? It's Godzilla
Yeah.
and Kong. That's a movie that, I mean, say what you want about the last one. Maybe the story wasn't as good, but those monster fight scenes and the graphics were amazing. And watching it in IMAX was awesome. And if I watch it at home and I'm like, this is amazing and I need to watch it in a theater, then I'm gonna actively look for a theater to watch it. So there are a few of me, but I feel like there are other people like that who would search out to watch it in a theater. So I feel like HBO Max is trying to help the theater in some way.
Yeah, I feel like the movie theaters really have no say. I mean, because like they're at the mercy of the movie studios now.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's really nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I think.
I mean, maybe legally wise they can, but I mean, like, what can you do? I mean, I feel like the movie studios have a case to be had, like, or to be made when, like, if it does get to like a legal situation, it'll be like, well, you guys aren't open, what I mean? So like, what were we supposed to do,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird situation. And as far as like you, Rob, like if they have it, like you said, like if they have it, at a theater, local theater, like I would love to watch it. It's that theater experience is nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it, because like just growing up, like watching movies in theater, and then after seeing in theater, and then when it gets to there's been a lot of times where it gets to like the what do you call it, DVD, and then you rewatch it and you're like, this was way more awesome like in theater, like so it's like you said, Kong, it probably wasn't a great like. Which movie were you talking about?
Godzilla, the last
Godzilla, yeah. Well, like I can only imagine, like it was just like in IMAX, seeing Godzilla,
it was awesome.
And and same thing with Kong, it's like the experience in the theater, it's just there's nothing like it, and it may not be a great movie or whatever, but there's nothing like it, and but anyways, but I was just rambling on. But yeah,
but that goes back to, I mean, what was it? Can't remember if it was this. I think it was last year in 2019. The Matrix. The Matrix was re-released into theater, and I was there watching it. You know why? Because The Matrix is a movie that deserves to be watched on a big screen with the right sound. And I mean,
what's funny is that I went. Rob ditched me for someone else because we were supposed to go watch it together.
I remember that.
I remember that. In the Dolby Cinema, so I went by myself on a Friday night. But I had actually never seen the original Matrix on the big screen. I first watched it at home on like I think it was a VHS rental, wasn't it, or something like that?
Matrix?
Yeah.
Well, it had to be VHS because that was like in 90,
it was like 2000 or 99, something like that.
Yeah, it came out in 99, probably VHS in like early 2000. But either way, obviously you're watching it on the tube television, and the TV was probably like a 24-inch at the biggest, if that, and and that was their first experience of the Matrix. Like, you remember kind of being blown away by the special effects and the story and all that, but then you don't you don't get that full experience. And so when I finally saw it on the big screen last year, it was pretty awesome to see in the Dolby cinema there. That was a neat experience. But
yeah, like I said, growing up seeing movies in theaters, and then when you after the release, you see it on DVD or whatever, and you're thinking to yourself like,
Yeah.
this movie ain't as awesome as it was in theaters, you know.
Yeah.
So like even bad movies are
Yeah.
like, you know, amazing experience like in the theater, you know, just like experience certain things, you know, with
Yeah.
with
And I think, you know, and I'm probably going to go on a rant here, but I think that's the thing that's kind of missing is because, you know, I still remember going as a kid, seeing the original Jurassic Park in theaters. I remember seeing all these other like great classic films in theaters and being blown away by them, and having that, you know, experience, and then seeing these, you know, comedies in theaters and sitting in nothing like seeing a comedy in a theater room full of laughing people, everybody laughing at the same joke and just like, you know, hysterical. And, you know, having that experience to when you're like by yourself or with a spouse and you're just there sitting there and like, yeah, that was good, but like, you know, it's not the same thing. And I think that's kind of what's lacking with today's generation. Now I'm going to sound like an old man,
Hey, get
but
off my lawn.
yeah, but I mean, you know, you know, when I talk to younger people, and it's kind of like, it's literally like the culture, like just sitting at home and chilling and watching whatever's there. And, you know, they're totally fine not going to the theaters. Like, you know, they're totally cool with just watching something on their phone. And it's like kind of sad in a way because you kind of miss out on those communal experiences that, you know, that kind of bring people closer in a sense, you know, and you know, that's how we get these pop culture, you know, big hits, and so it's kind of sad that that's kind of going away, but you know, yeah, it's sad because that's kind of where we're at, and you know,
I think eventually it would have gotten to that point, but like the whole COVID thing just
Yeah,
like
yeah, it sped up the
accelerated
process.
everything.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man, like, and even just recently, you know, seen Endgame when Captain America got Thor's hammer, like the whole crowd went nuts.
I
and
mean,
it was a fun experience.
you can find videos on YouTube of people that were recording in the theater room when it happened, and you just people losing their minds, you know. But again, you don't really. I mean, that's kind of like once in a lifetime now that you'll have like these kind of experiences
Yeah.
because again, unless it's a big movie like that, you know, nobody really goes out to watch these things, and it's never. You know, it's sad.
Yeah, it's all about convenience nowadays.
I have it's just you're talking about movie theater experiences. I remember going to go see Napoleon Dynamite with me and my friend Mike, and we thought it was so hilarious that the next week we went to go see it again, but we invited like two other of our friends, and then I think we went to go see it probably like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, but with more and more people. We're like, you guys got to see this movie, it's hilarious. And we were just like going week after week after week, and that, I think right there, what is you're talking about, Adrian, as far as like the communal experience or
Yeah.
waiting. I mean, no one really waits in line anymore, but back in the day when you would have to wait in line.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when, and this isn't even that.
Now
long
that I
ago.
actually don't miss waiting in line.
The waiting in line, but again, it's kind of like I miss the midnight screenings because they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really do them anymore. But I mean, and this isn't even that long ago. When you know, when Dark Knight came out, and we got the tickets early, like as soon as they went on sale, like I went and drove down to the box office and bought a grip of tickets for like me and a bunch of my friends. Like we
Not
got
me,
like
though.
so many tickets.
Not me, Adrian.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, no.
You guys
but,
weren't
but,
talking
But
at the
then
time.
going
That's right.
and the anticipation, and then going and literally going and showing up to the theater like probably like around like 8:30 ish, and waiting in line for our 12:01 showing, and you know, and we're just sitting outside of the theater room, long line. We were like a couple of the first ones in line for that theater room, and we were waiting, and everybody's just kind of like doing whatever they wanted to like kill time, but talking about the movie and talking about like, oh, what do you think's gonna happen, like whatever, and then like just being in a packed theater room, and then having these moments where people were literally standing up and cheering and clapping, and for all these moments, like for the moments with the Joker and the whole truck chase scene with the Joker where people
that was
literally
awesome. That was awesome.
like applauded, like standing ovation for that kind of stuff. It was like awesome. Like, but again, you don't really get that anymore, and
Yeah,
that's
those
kind
those
of what's
those
sad.
times
But
are
you know,
those times are over.
I mean, this kind of took like a weird turn,
Yeah, we're all
but
depressed
since the
now.
topic presents itself, Rob, what is the best theater experience that you've ever had?
The best theater, like movie, or like what do you
Just
mean?
the overall experience, like being in the crowd, everybody was really hyped, and then just the enjoyment that you had, you know.
Oh man, that's a that's a tough one. So okay, so I'm gonna say this just because you brought up. I'm gonna mention like two or three. So just sit down and hold on.
Go for
So
it.
The Dark Knight, this was like an overall 1 day experience for me because I remember this specifically because I went to go see the midnight showing with my cousin, but
Hmm.
it wasn't an IMAX showing because they didn't have any available. So after it was over, I drove out to Ontario to the IMAX out there, which was, I think it
Okay,
started at like, I want to say maybe somewhere in between like 5 and 6 in the morning. They were like showing in
because they
IMAX.
were
So
doing it round clock. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I drove after it was over, which was probably like around 3:30, close to 4, in Puente Hills. I drove out to Ontario to watch it in the IMAX there, and then came home, fell asleep, and then all my friends wanted to go see it that night, so I went again. So I seen it 3 times opening day, but that's just one. And then another awesome theater experiences, which I do not recommend anyone do because it's wrong, and I was young and I shouldn't have done it. But me and my friend, me and my friend Mike,
Yes.
um,
Wait, is this the
yes,
same Mike you went to go watch Napoleon Dynamite with?
yes, it is. Yes,
And The
it is.
Matrix without me?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
So
okay.
me and Mike had a lot of experience
Yeah, sounds like
doing
you guys
yeah.
do.
So it was, I think it was like Harry Potter. It was either Prison of Azkaban or Goblet of Fire, and I think it was Shrek 2 had came out around the same time. So every weekend for like 3 weeks, we would go see Harry Potter and then sneak into Shrek. We go see Shrek and then sneak into Harry Potter. For like 3 weeks we did that. So and
You know, it's
then
funny. Actually, you know, funny side note is I actually went and watched Shrek 2 with Mike and another person. It was just me, Mike, and another random person on a Friday night, and it was like we were like the only like like young single dudes in there, and like yeah, but
pretty
yeah,
pretty much how and then like I said, the other time I already mentioned was when me and Mike went to go see Napoleon Dynamite, and then week after week we were just like, we'd grab, three more friends, like, hey, you got to check this movie out. I mean, Napoleon Dynamite is a legendary movie for me, but it wasn't anything like movies you got now. But
yeah.
just the fact of us going back and trying to get more people to come see it and trying to be like, hey, this movie's awesome, you need to come check it out. Okay, like two more people came, and then eventually
Yeah.
having like a
Yeah.
whole row of people there that you and your friend kind of got everyone there to go see it. That stuff. I mean, I could go on for days as far as theater experiences, but what do you guys got?
Daniel.
Um, I don't know. I mean, it's not really like a memorable one. I mean, I never did that. I wasn't rebellious as you guys, but yeah.
Well,
um,
that's because you're a
I mean,
good
one
person,
one
Danny.
one I experience I remember is I guess like they're all kind of like when I was a kid, and like I remember my mom took us to go see Twister. It was me, my mom, and my aunt, and they took us to go see Twister, and I remember thinking that was awesome as a kid. Same thing when my parents took us to go see Toy Story 2, and Men in Black, just stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I really don't have like any like memorable ones, but just yeah.
Yeah, I have quite a few, but I'll kind of am pertaining to just the experience as far as like for myself, and then being in a big crowd, and the reaction that kind of drives that energy. One I mentioned was The Dark Knight when we went and watched it, the midnight showing, opening night. That one was a a great experience. Like you,
Yeah, I
Rob,
mean, I was gonna mention that one too, but you already mentioned it, so that's why I mentioned it. But yeah, go
like
ahead.
you, Rob. I watched The Dark Knight. I think 5 times in like the first like I want to say 3 or 4 days
Nice.
that it came out that opening weekend. So yeah, it was pretty awesome watching it. Um, what's the other one that? Oh, another time when I went to the Samuel Goldwyn Theater. It's a theater that's run by the Motion Picture Academy out there near. I think it's in Beverly Hills. But I went with my grandpa, and they were doing like a 70th anniversary series of the Best Picture nominees for 1939. And so my grandfather, being a huge John Wayne fan, was Stagecoach was the film, and we went and watched that film, and I took him out with me to go watch that film, and it was a really cool experience to be there with my grandpa to go watch it, but to be there in a big crowd and then be at the Academy Theater to watch it there, and just having like the really cool moment. My grandfather, who's seen this movie like dozens of times, watching the chase scene where the natives are chasing the stagecoach, and they're trying to fight them off, and it's like this high intense moment, and finally it comes to the climax of that moment, and then the stagecoach makes it out, and then like kind of people kind of clapping, and then I remember my grandfather kind of like cheering, like kind of getting into it, and it was a really cool experience to have with my grandfather, and he's the reason why I'm like really big into westerns, because he was really big into westerns, and so whenever I'd go over, he'd always be watching his westerns and talking about John Wayne and all the other classic western films, and so yeah, to have that experience there was pretty awesome.
I will say this, and I'm not gonna get emotional or anything, Adrian. Um, Another experience that, not that I forgot or anything, but I feel like it's more recent. Um, is I feel like me and you have done a lot of stuff together as far as like getting early access to movies, and getting to getting. I mean, we watch. Who can say they watched the movie?
Adrian's
They
getting emotional.
Yeah. Who can say? Not a lot of people can say they watched the Tarantino movie with Quentin Tarantino. So I will say, me and you, with the starting of this
We
channel, and just
can.
kind of like, yeah, oh yes, we can. Just with the starting of this channel, and just kind of like, hey, you email this person, email this person, and we got some tickets. Let's go check out this movie. It's an early screening, and I feel like me and you have done a lot of cool, unique, and memorable things. One of them is getting to watch Quentin Tarantino movie with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome,
It
and it
was.
was
It was.
was
And
although
a lot of people were accusing you guys of lying.
That we didn't
you know
get
what,
to
we'll
go.
repost. I'm gonna repost those pictures like tonight or tomorrow or something, and just to say, hey guys, remember? Because I have video. We'll post the video of Tarantino talking about the movie, but funny story or not, but it was my niece's birthday party that we were at, and we had to leave a little early to get back over there because I was carpooling with you, and we got there, and I think you were running a little late or something, and so we were a little behind, and
Oh yeah,
the
you
whole
were
time
freaking out. I remember
I
you were
was freaking out. I was like, we're
I was
not
like,
gonna
dude,
make
I
it.
was like,
They're not
relax,
gonna let us
Adrian.
in.
Relax.
Rob was like, it's fine, relax. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be cool. It's like we're good. I was like, no, we're not. We're gonna be left outside, and we drove all the way out here for nothing. It's gonna suck. But lo and behold, we made it, and we were there, and we actually had time. I had time to get concessions, and I talked to a few friends that worked at that theater, and then and then got my seat, and we were there, and then Tarantino walked like 2 inches away from me,
Yes, he did.
and I got a
saw
picture.
that.
I got a blurry picture of him, but it was still a picture of him,
That's right.
and it was pretty awesome. And to hear him introduce the film and watch the film, it was in that crowd. That was actually a pretty unique experience as well, and that was pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, if you're watching at home, why don't you comment down below and let us know what are your favorite movie theater experiences, and we'd love to hear them. I don't know. Is there anything else we gotta cover?
I think that's it. We're already
think we're
been
good.
going on for
I
45
think that's good.
minutes.
Yeah,
It
we
looks
had a
like
nice little talk
we
here.
got the timer.
But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Why don't you comment down below and let us know what you thought of any of the topics that we covered, theater experiences or HBO Max, or what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? We'd love to hear it. Also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, share, and follow us on Instagram at On the Fence Movie Reviews.
And remember, we'll catch you on the fence.